are
They're leaning in.
Or what?
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified
Yeah.
of some kind of backlash. I mean, you see with Disney now. I mean, Disney, one of the most gay-friendly companies.
Joe began his newest podcast by diving straight into the turmoil surrounding Rachel Zegler. He took aim at Disney's live-action adaptation of a beloved classic, which has caused so much chaos that the studio is now on high alert. From the very moment he brought up the issue, he made it crystal clear he wasn't going to spare anyone's feelings.
So with Snow White, let's go through this, right? There's no prince. Woman doesn't need a prince.
Oh, Lord.
Really? Okay, good luck back then.
He described the entire situation as a perfect storm of corporate overreach, creative stumbling blocks, and an actor's blunt public statements, all colliding to form one of the most talked about Hollywood scandals in recent memory. He went on to say that these issues combined so forcefully that the project, once heralded as a potential blockbuster, lost its footing almost overnight. From the very beginning, he appeared genuinely stunned by how quickly such a hopeful production spiraled into near-constant damage control, leaving everyone scrambling for a solution that never seemed to arrive.
It's just so stupid. Like, of course you do. It doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
He started by explaining that Rachel Zegler was initially chosen to breathe fresh life into a classic story. She was seen as someone who could capture a younger audience while still showing deep respect for the original, keeping longtime fans on board. But according to Rogan, that balance never materialized. Instead, almost from the very first press appearances, Rachel Zegler became a lightning rod for debate and controversy.
And I get it, there's a difference between spoiling and whatever, but to go out and badmouth everybody and talk smack about, older movies in the same franchise, the canon story, I guess?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I feel like they would have had better control of it.
Even though early reports suggested that the film could bank on its classic storyline and star-studded cast, public criticism struck faster and harder than anyone at Disney expected. Rogan pointed out that the box office decline might have been inevitable, given the questionable creative choices. However, Rachel Zegler's outspoken remarks seemed to magnify every underlying problem, making the film's flaws impossible to ignore.
Then I can't bitch about it. This girl took the money and then decided that she wanted to go out there and, you know what, I'm going to take my stand. Well, you should have made that stand before you took the money to promote a film, because that's not in line with your job description.
He spent several minutes explaining how Disney traditionally handles controversies with its blockbuster franchises. Although a massive conglomerate like Disney can usually weather negative press, Joe Rogan was stunned by how this particular backlash caught the studio off guard. He also noted that Bob Iger, famous for his hands-on leadership, seemed genuinely rattled by the magnitude of it all.
I think this is their policies coming back to bite them. They went woke.
Yeah.
She went out and said stuff woke that was going to hurt the film. They couldn't come out and go against her, because then you're going after somebody for saying what you say you believe.
Typically, corporate synergy guarantees that the right talking points reach the right channels at just the right time. However, in this situation, the entire PR machine seemed to stall. Rogan took that as a sign that Disney executives had badly misjudged how strongly fans might react to sweeping changes in such a cherished story. He also noted that they hadn't prepared for a lead actor who speaks her mind so freely. Rogan then spent a sizable part of his monologue analyzing Rachel Zegler's role in this unfolding fiasco, highlighting how her candid style only amplified the controversy.
But at the same time, I think going forward, they're going to be like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Tight-lipped. Otherwise, guess what? We're clawing back some money.
Yeah. This would have been a lot better if they, had a strong male along with her, a prince, if it wasn't about socialism.
He emphasized that blaming her for the entire debacle would be both lazy and inaccurate. However, Joe Rogan also pointed out that her conduct in interviews, on social media, and particularly during what should have been a straightforward appearance on The View, quickly became flashpoints for widespread fan outrage. Rogan noted that some critics perceived her public comments as dismissive of the original story's core themes. This accusation might have been less impactful if the film itself hadn't made such drastic changes to the narrative.
I think they could have done all that. Well, you want to cut? Well, they could have done all that still, and as long as she had gone out and been like, well, we just have a different story. I like the old story, but we're doing a different one this time.
You're probably right.
The backlash would have been 10 times.
Yes.
You're probably right.
Anything Rachel Zegler said that strayed from Disney's official messaging became the spark that kept the controversy burning. He explained that fan bases are extremely protective of treasured stories, and that even under ideal circumstances, updating a beloved classic can be a precarious move. Once there's even a hint of disrespect toward the original spirit of the tale, it immediately fuels the outcry.
Jonah Platt, whose father helped produce the latest Snow White film, had some very harsh words for star Rachel Zegler.
For context, Variety wrote a report recently titled Inside Disney's Snow White Fiasco, Death Threats, Beefed Up Security, and a Social Media Guru for Rachel Zegler.
He pointed out that audiences can sometimes react with disproportionate intensity, and Rachel Zegler, almost by default, found herself front and center, taking much of the heat. Rogan then highlighted how the film's overhauled storyline, altered visuals, and revamped character arcs likely magnified the backlash. In the end, whether Disney can rebound or if this controversy has irreversibly affected the film's reception is still up in the air. For now, fans and critics alike will be watching closely to see how everything unfolds.